Więc o to chodzi.
Warsaw Rising City of Heroes is a World War II game based on the 2-month event known as the Warsaw Uprising. So is the gameplay serviceable? Does it sensitively portray the events of the Warsaw Uprising? That's what you are here to find out in 5 minutes. Now, before I start, it's important to note that this game was originally called Warsaw, but then they patched the game to more accurately reflect the historical events of that time. So the game name has been changed from Warsaw to Warsaw Rising City of Heroes. With that out of the way, let me start my review proper. First, let me start with presentation. Now, as you can see, whether you're at base building or in combat or exploring the city, the game gives a very dark narrative with depressing music playing all about. The events presented are very bleak, and you can see actually destroyed parts of the city within the background of the art. So I would say this game does a very good and solemn approach towards the Warsaw Uprising.
Wyzwolenie Gęsiówki było jedną z najsprawniej przeprowadzonych akcji powstania. Mimo 90-osobowej, dobrze uzbrojonej załogi obozu, mimo solidnych murów i wież strażniczych, żołnierze, dowodzeni przez porucznika Ryszarda Białusa Jerzego, weszli do obozu jak po swoje. Uwolnili 348 ludzi.
Next, I want to talk about story. The game presents significant events that happened during the Warsaw Uprising. So whether it's the liberation of a concentration camp or the battle near Prudential Building, these are presented into the main game as events that you and your fighters have to go through. The game also lets you participate in shaping the story a little through the use of events, and this allows you to have a bit more immersion in the game. Also have articles or landmarks for you to visit, so that you can see what happens in the history of the game, and I think they do a pretty good job in that aspect. But whatever happens, it follows history. Ultimately, this 2-month uprising will fail, and the Germans will be victorious no matter how hard you try to fight in this uprising. Now, let's talk about gameplay. Now, I have to admit that the gameplay is surprisingly tough, considering this is a free game. The gameplay is divided into 3 portions. So the first portion consists of base building, which I'll describe in a while. Second portion, map exploration, and the third portion is combat, which I will cover first. Now, combat is tough. The Germans usually have you outnumbered. There's superior weaponry. What can save you is clever positioning of your troops and how you use the skills of your resistance fighters to overcome these odds. Okay? Bear in mind that you do have to prioritize certain enemies over the others, such as officers or heavy weapons, and you do have to be careful because death in this game is permanent. Yes, you heard me. Any troop that you lose, whether it's through combat or events, they are permanently gone from the rest of the game forever. Due to the high difficulty of combat, you'll find yourself trying to avoid German patrols and using things like flares to review their positions so that you can avoid such difficult combat situations. So you will tread carefully and try to avoid roadblocks and find a way through to your objectives. In the base building portion, you will take this time to sell and accumulate what little supplies you have, and use experience points accumulated to upgrade your characters. Now, do note there's a bug in this game where clicking in the center of the buttons doesn't result in an upgrade. So I recommend that you try to click at the side of the button so that you can achieve the upgrade that you want. Now, during base building, they also put in a quite interesting features like ability to check what troops you lost and ability to swap weapons. And I think that's quite good because it shows you the challenges of the logistics of being a resistance fighter rather than a well-established military. Now, overall, what do I think of this game? I think this game is a good attempt to balance fun and historicity of an event that is treated by the Polish as a source of national pride and a source of national tragedy. World War II was indeed one of the darkest period of our times, and we should try not to forget the lessons of war. In fact, today I feel that some of the lessons are unlearned by major populace, especially with recent events and calls for genocide of certain groups of people still carry on today. With that, I give Warsaw Rising City of Heroes a 9/10. Although it retains the Darkest Dungeon look, it does fit the theme of World War II, and furthermore, it's a free game that you'll find challenging, and I hope that you learn something from this historical masterpiece. I did deduct a point down for obvious bugs, and I kind of wish the developers do come back to repair such mistakes. So with that, thank you all for watching. I hope you subscribe to the channel. Here is the 5-minute reviewer signing off.